kid just struck out, or missed the game-winning free throw, or dropped the ball on the play that everyone was watching. And you're standing there, not as a coach, not as a stranger in the stands, but as their mother. And you have about 4 seconds to decide what your face is going to say before your mouth even opens. That right there is what this whole episode is about, because I've coached basketball and track over the years. I've got 3 kids in so many different competitive sports right now. Zoe on the softball field or the volleyball court, Zane and Zarek on that baseball diamond, and I have been on both sides of the moment, the coach's side and the mom side. And let me tell you, they are not the same job, even though everybody thinks they are. Today, I am breaking down how to actually raise a confident kid in competitive youth sports. Not a kid who's confident because they're always winning, but a kid who's confident because of how you handled the losing. You, as their mother, their number one cheerleader, the one always in the stands there for them. And I'm going to talk about the parents specifically because y'all are carrying something nobody talks about. The money, the time, the whole Saturday gone in a tournament, the whole weekend gone because of some type of tournament. And if you're not careful, that pressure leaks onto our kids and it cost us the exact thing we were trying to build. So let's get into it. Guys. The confidence myth. Here's the lie most sports parents believe. Confidence comes from being good at a sport. Well, that's wrong. Confidence comes from the feeling of being safe to be bad at the sport in front of the people who love them the most. I see it every season. Parents think if their kid just makes that one shot or that winning free throw, just gets that beautiful hit over the fence or on base to win the game, or just wins that track race or track meet or cross country meet, whatever it is, that's when the confidence shows up. So they push. They critique all the way home on that ride. They replay every mistake before the kid's even out of their uniform. And what actually happens, the kid starts playing scared. Scared of missing the ball, scared of shooting, scared of just in general disappointing you. And that's not confidence. That's performance anxiety wearing a jersey. And I've been there. I have been there 100%. I have been there when I was younger. Real confidence in a kid comes from one thing. They know their worth to you does not go up or down based on the scoreboard or based on their performance. I tell my own 3 this all the time. Win, lose, strike out, walk it off, doesn't matter. My love for you does not have to start at your stats. My love for them does not have a stat line attached to them. That's the foundation. If you don't have that part locked in, nothing else in this episode is going to work. Because you are building confidence on a foundation that cracks the second they have a bad game. So, the coach versus the mom. And if I have any moms in here that have coached their kids, ooh, you a baddie, clock it, as my kid students would say, clock it, and then they put their index finger and thumb together. So, now, here's where it gets real, because I lived in both worlds. Or worlds, whatever. I've lived in both of them. As a coach, my job is development. I'm looking at mechanics. I'm looking at the effort. I'm looking to see if they are coachable. I'll correct a kid's form on the spot because that's literally the job as a coach. But as a mom, my job is not development. My job is the safe place to land. The mistake and I've made it, is bringing the coach voice home, breaking down the game in the car, and I know I'm not the only one that's done this, pointing out what they have done, what they should have done differently 5 minutes after the final whistle or the final inning or whatever sport it is they're playing. It feels helpful, and let me tell you, it is not helpful. It tells your kids that even at home, they're still being evaluated when the game is completely over. And here's the rule I follow now because I've lived and I've learned. So let me be the one that has learned the lessons for you and you take it from me. And I want you to steal it because the car ride home is neutral territory. No breakdowns, no asking or getting mad at them what happened out there, no coaching. Just sit in there, love them, and tell them I loved watching you play. That's it. That's the whole sentence. If they want to talk about the game, if they want to bring it up, let them lead. 9 times out of 10, your kid already knows what went wrong. They don't need you as their mom, their number one cheerleader, to point it out. They need to know you were watching them and that it's just not a scoreboard or a highlight play, even though that's like bonuses and that's every parent's like dream. Like, oh, that's my kid out there. Look at him. I built athletes. And listen, if you already are their coach, like on the field, their coach, like I am for basketball and track, that line matters even more. You have to be able to switch it off. Practice is when you coach. Practice is when I coach. Home is when you are a mom. So when you get home, be their mom. My keys, what the world? My kids need to know which one they're getting. And it can't be both at the same time. Once the game is over, it's over. Let it be bygones. And I have been at the front lines getting mad at my kids like, you could have done this, you could have done that. Guys, oh my God. That right there, the one you're not talking about, guess what that's called? Burnout. And all that money you spent, oh my goodness. So, parents, moms, dad, this is the part I really want to sit in because nobody says it out loud, and I'm going to try as best as I can to say it loud enough for the people in the back. You have spent money on the sport. I have spent so much money on my tournament weekends with whatever sport my kids did that weekend. And I'm talking real money. You got your club fees, you got your gas, you got your travel hotel bookings or fees, whatever. You got your coach's fees. You got some organizations you have to pay for the coach's food. Like, oh my God, it's crazy. And again, gas money to 3 different fields in one weekend. Or nowadays, I remember when it was just like $7 to get into a tournament. Literally, the price has gone up so much, it's ridiculous. I think $15 is what it is to go see them one day. So $30 a weekend just to go watch them. And that's 3 different tournaments. And somewhere in the back of your mind, even if you would never say it, there's a little voice that goes, I didn't pay all of this for you to strike out and not care. Like, holy cow, some of these kids have so much gear that costs crazy amount of money. You got the bat, you got the elbow guard, you got the shin guard, you got the slidey mitts. Like, holy cow, it is a money maker if you know what I mean. And I get it. I felt that voice. But here's the truth that voice does not want you to hear. That pressure you're carrying about the money, your kid can feel it too, and they know how much money you spend on them. Even if you never say a word about it, kids nowadays, they're little sponges. They absorb all of that. They know when a game means more to you than it actually should. And here's where it gets dangerous. When a kid feels like they owe you a good performance because of what it costs, that's not motivation anymore. That's nobody plays their best sport while feeling like they're in debt with their parents. So, this is how we lose them. Not all at once. It slowly gets there. It's the kid who used to run onto the field and now drags their bag to the car so freaking slow, is like unmotivated to even go to practice. It's the kid who stops asking, "Can we go to practice?" and starts asking, "Do I really have to go?" And then one day, usually right around 8th grade, 9th grade, like high school years or like their last year in middle school, they tell you, oh, this one's gotta hurt. They tell you they don't want to play anymore. And you're standing there thinking about every single dollar, every weekend, every practice you drove them to. And the real question isn't why they quit after all that. The real question is, did they quit the sport or did they quit the pressure? Because I'm telling you, nowadays these kids have so much crazy pressure on them. And social media does not help one bit with all this craziness. If you know what I mean, back in the day, we could get away with a murder because we didn't have phones following us or cameras every single corner. So these kids nowadays, yes, I'm going to say they're a little soft than us millennials and Gen X's, but they do have more pressure because there's so many more eyes on them and they have way more receipts than we could ever find because we didn't have cameras like that. And here's what actually happens in that moment for a lot of kids. It's not that they stop loving the game, it's that the game stopped being theirs. It became the thing that made mom proud or made dad happy or just justified all the money that we had spent. And carrying somebody else's expectations for years after years after years is exhausting for a grown adult. Imagine doing it as a 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old. So here's what I need you to hear, and I need you to really receive this one. It's just a game. I know that hurts. It is just a game that we spend so much money on, that we want our kids to be the biggest and greatest and just all that. But at the end of the day, it's just a game. I know how that sounds coming from a coach, but it is. It's a game. It's not their worth. It's not your investment paying off or not paying off. It is a game that is supposed to teach them to compete, to fail, because when we lose, it's a feeling we hate, and that is called failure. But with that failure, to get back up and to have fun doing it again, but doing it better. To remember what it's like to feel when we didn't accomplish what we wanted. The second it stops being fun for them, we have to ask ourselves honestly, is this still about them or is it about us, their parents? Because think about the actual points of spending that money in the first place. It was never really about the travel ball trophy. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have some parents that are trophy chasers or ring chasers, and it shows. But they're not doing anything for their kids when they're 12, having them play 11-year-olds. I see it all the freaking time. And that is literally another episode on itself. I'm not going to get sidetracked on that because my ADD can get the best of me. It was about building a kid who loves showing up, who isn't afraid to try hard things, who knows how to lose and still want to play it all over again. If they walk away from the sport by high school because they were scared of disappointing you or us, that's not them failing the investment. That is the investment failing its actual purpose. So from parent to parent, mom to mom, or coach/mom, protect the love of the game over everything else. Over the scholarship dream, over the travel ball ranking, over what the other parents in the stands think of your kids' stat lines, because it's true. They look at your stats and it's a wild. Like, at the end of the day, just worry about your own kids and no one else. Protect the love. Because a kid who still loves playing at 16 is worth more than a kid who was already good at 11. And then guess what? They quit at 13. Like, oh my God. What confident kids actually look like? And no one talks about this because we don't know. We don't know what confident kids looks like until it's too late. People picture the confident athlete as the loud one, the one who talks trash, the one who celebrates hard with those silly I don't even know, dances, dabs, whatever you call them. They think they never doubt themselves. That's not confidence. Half of the time, that's a kid overcompensating because they're terrified of looking weak. Real confidence looks quieter than you think. It looks like a kid who strikes out and walks back to the dugout with their shoulders still up. And I'm not going to lie to you, baseball is a very hard sport. My uncle told me that baseball, you're hitting a round ball with a round bat. Like baseball and softball, you're meant to fail. You're hitting two round objects. Tennis, you have a flat surface and a round ball. Like totally different. Baseball is a very hard sport and it's literally meant for you to fail. So when you strike out and you still can walk off the field with your shoulders still up, It also looks like a kid who asked the coach for extra reps instead of avoiding the drill that they're bad at. It looks like a kid who can lose a game and still want to play it again tomorrow. And that is what I love. The kind of confidence gets built through reps of failure that were handled safely. Every time your kid messes up in front of you and you respond with the steadiness instead of disappointment, you are making a deposit. And it adds up over all the seasons, not the games. I've watched this play out with my own three. Zarek will have a rough inning, and instead of me swooshing in with a fix-it speech, I let him sit with it because you gotta coop with it. And then I remind him, you're still my son. You're still my favorite little baby on that baseball field, and I love to watch you play. And it's okay, you'll get him next time because there's so much more game in his life. Even at the beginning of the inning, you mess up, oh my God, there's still so much game left. Like, it's just the start. That's the whole toolkit. It's not complicated, it's just consistent. And the faith and the freedom connection is what I'm all about. I'd be lying if I said this part isn't tied to my faith, because it is. I don't put my identity in whatever my brand had a good month. God doesn't love me more on the months I hit my numbers and less on the months I don't. That's the same exact framework I'm handing my kids on the field. Your identity isn't the outcome. Your identity is who you are underneath the outcome. And that connects straight to freedom. Because here's what I want for my kids in the long term. I don't just want athletes. I mean, yes, I do. I want great athletes. But hey, I don't need them to be athletes. I want humans. I cannot talk right now. Holy moly. I want humans who can take a swing at something big. It could be a business. It could be a dream that they've had since they were little. It could be a hard conversation with a best friend or with their parents or whoever it is. And then when that happens, not fall apart if it doesn't go perfect the first time. That resilience gets built on the baseball field, on the basketball court, on the hockey court, way before it even gets tested in real life. Every time I let my kids fail safely in front of me, I'm not just raising an athlete. I'm raising someone who's going to be able to build their own life one day without needing my approval attached to every outcome. That's the whole goal. That's freedom passed down. These sports teach you that you aren't perfect, but guess what? You can get back up and do it again to perfect it. So, parent to parent, before you go, I want you to really think about why you started this whole youth sports journey in the first place. Because I don't remember why I did, but after this, I know why we did. It wasn't for the trophy. It was because you wanted to give your kids something, a skill, a team, a memory, a reason to believe in themselves. Don't let a scoreboard steal that from you. Don't let one bad season or one rough game make you forget why you started. It is just a game. Let it stay just a game. Because the second it becomes bigger than that, bigger than your relationship with your own child, you've already lost, regardless of the final score. So, here's your homework this week. Next game, next practice, whatever comes first, try the car ride rule. No breakdown, just I love watching you play. See what happens. And if your kid had a rough one, oh my God, I hate when they have those rough ones. Remember, you're not there to coach them in that moment. You're there to be their soft place to land. Confidence isn't building on the wins. It's built on how safe it feels to lose in front of the people who love you the most and knowing that they got your back, even though it didn't go the way you wanted. So, with that being said, I am thriving Tiff. This has been Thriving Out Loud, Faith, Fitness, and Freedom. I will see you next episode. If you haven't, what is it called? Subscribe, like, comment, subscribe, do all those things, hit all my buttons. If this is your first episode, welcome to the family. If this is not and you've been rocking since day one, thank you for rocking with me. I love y'all and have a great and fabulous day. Bye.